In the grim darkness of the far future, there is only war. And this episode on the Flashing Badger podcast will be taking that literally as Mike, Wegs and Fitz join me playing Imperial Guardsmen stranded on a jungle moon being overrun by orcs. Let's find out if they can survive as we play Only War from Fantasy Flight and Cubicle 7 Games.
Flashing Badger, Flashing Badger, alright. Flashing Badger.
Thanks for joining us this week. As I said before, we're playing the Only War RPG, originally from Fantasy Flight Games. It's now from Cubicle 7. It's going to be our first time playing, so obviously we might make some mistakes, but let's get kicked off on the adventure. Joining me today are Wegs.
Hello, it's Wegs.
Nice to see you again, Fitz.
Hello everyone, nice to see you again.
And obviously, Mike is with us.
I'm Mike. This is the voice of Mike.
That's good. If you can correlate them in your head, that would be great. So today's adventure that we're playing is called The 11th Hour, and it's set on the moon of Eris in the Caracalia system, for those of you playing at home. We'd like to refer to that. So you three have chosen some characters which are pre-made characters, but you've made a little bit of adjustment to. Wegs, would you like to tell me a little bit about who you're playing and what they do?
Yes, I'm playing Imperial Arbites agent Gordon Cole, named in honour of the great David Lynch. He is a native Catachani, was taken up by the scholar Progenium, developed into one of the finest lawmen in the galaxy, and has returned to Catachan to join his brothers and sisters in arms and go on adventures with them.
Fantastic. We're going to be referring to him just as Cole for lack of confusion, for obvious reasons. And he is a weapons specialist. And to sum him up in his appearance, he looks a bit like Arnie in Predator with no shirt and a giant knife.
What else would you look like as a native Catachani?
Exactly right. And Mike, tell us me about your character.
Today I'm Yelena Ramirez. Her parents both served in the regiment as well, so she's a Catachani jungle fighter with a specialty in being a heavy gunner, but she's a social recluse. She is so invested in the outdoors and being the best soldier the Imperium can offer that she's not much fun to be around for everyone else. So it's going to be a difficult role for me to play.
Okay, sounds interesting. Antisocial is usually not in your wheelhouse. Fitz.
Yes, today I'm playing an Ogryn, and my name is Shanadar. To give you a bit of background,
Shanadar do commission, sir. Shanadar look after little ones. Shanadar! Shanadar!
It's perfect. I like it. Thank you. So I think it's fair to say you probably have the least 40k knowledge and experience of all of us.
yes, I've been cramming all week. There's a lot in the 40k universe, and I mean a lot.
There's at least 3 books.
Yeah.
Three books released every minute.
There's a moderate amount of lore, I'd agree with you.
Every time I look at something, it says, these are the Imperium Guards of this guy. And I'm like, oh, who's this guy? This guy was born of this guy. And I feel like I'm reading like an old biblical text.
Yeah, don't keep clicking the wiki
And I keep
links.
clicking the wikis. I have so many screens open at the moment. So many tabs.
Dangerous rabbit
Anyway,
hole.
so yes, I'm new to the 40k and I'm thoroughly looking forward to getting on board this one.
Well, I think you've chosen the right character because your Ogryn is meant to know very little. So, well done.
Shanadar!
All right, let me set the scene for you. As I said before, you find yourselves in an ongoing campaign on the moon of Eris in the Caracalia system. And it's been several weeks since your company landed there as part of Operation Hammerstrike. The goal of Operation Hammerstrike is to destroy a vital base for the orc war boss Grimtooth. His warg is currently raging through the sector, and the operation going on for a few weeks, and you of the Catachan 14th Recon Company are at the front line. You've been at the front line this whole time, pushing deep into orc territory. You finally reached the Teeming. The Teeming is an ancient area that's a vast wound upon the world of Eris. It's a centuries-old asteroid crater. It's filled over the centuries with hostile flora and fauna. It's like a dark mirror of your beloved Catachan homeworld. And inside that crater, orc bases have been beginning to be established. They're out of the range of orbital strikes. They can't get a good view in there, so they've had to send people in on foot. And as we join you on your adventure. It's been a particularly bloody night, and you three, plus a few others, have been cut off from the rest of the company. You're holed up in the ruins of an orc fort. These orc forts dot the edge of the teeming like a vast network. Some of them are connected by underground tunnels, They're made of the carcasses of giant predators combined with salvage bits of scrap and wood, old Imperial vehicles. They're messy and labyrinthine. And inside the fort with you, holed up, is beloved platoon sergeant Dryak, who is obviously, being a veteran Kashchani sergeant, is hard-bitten and gruff, but wants the best for his men. And a group of wounded that are going to need to be looked after. As dawn slowly comes up and you see it peeking through the gaps and the blinds and the animal skins that represent the outer wall of the scrap fort, you realise that your task is going to be to try and reunite with the rest of your company. But sitting there in the dark, you smell the smell of mushrooms and fungus and rot, stale water, metal and rust, and all you can hear is distant movement, the continual noises of the jungle outside, and the occasional moans and whimpers of the wounded. You'll try and reunite with your platoon. What are you going to do?
I'm looking forward to hearing our platoon sergeant's voice.
I'm not.
And some of these jungle noises as well. Do they have any peacocks on Eris?
What does a peacock sound like?
They do now.
The facial expression that went with that, I know this isn't a visual medium, but it was quite
That's what I
disturbing.
really lent into it.
It's quite disturbing.
Sergeant Dryak, as the only sort of functioning soldiers under his command, he's pulled you aside. And once I figure out how he talks, he's going to say something to you. Listen up. We're going to hook back up with the company. We're stranded here. The orcs have probably cut off a line of retreat by now. We're going to have to fight our way out. I'm going to stay here, monitor the wounded. I'm going to leave it on you three to figure out our best method. But you know that Danos is dead and his Vox unit's damaged. We've got no way of getting in touch with command, and we need you to go back as runners, hook up and see what our orders are. Remember, 2 men together an opportunity. 1 man's a waste of ammo. Clear the shingle. I'll see you outside the orc fort.
What a reference.
That's Saving Private Ryan, Steven Spielberg film. I recommend it. So talk to me. That's your goal? Get back in touch with the company?
All right. Do we need to do a bit of scouting?
Yeah, I'm going to pat myself down and see if I still have my map of the teaming. I did have like a laminated map folded up, but I don't know if I still have it after everything we've been through.
Yes, you do. It's a very large scale. It's like a satellite image that covers many square kilometers. But you can see that the teaming is obviously this deep crater. Your scrap fort that you're currently in is one that's like on the rim of the crater, and you can see essentially back to the southwest is the Imperial Firebase, where you set out from, Firebase Longtooth. You got a long trip if you want to get all the way back there, but you're the advanced element. There are other elements, other companies up behind you. You're not a lone probe out from the base, if that makes sense.
But we're recon. Ooh-ah.
Ooh-ah. Shanada.
And we've got our bearings.
Thanks,
so
Canada.
So I know where I am in relation to the teaming, because I'm at my fort base.
Absolutely. Look, you only entered this orc fort last night. You fought to take this ground. This was orc occupied as of a few hours ago. But as you've started to explore the inside of the fort, as you sort of made your way in, you can tell it's not designed by any rational mind. There's tunnels that go nowhere. There's stairs that don't seem to connect to upper floors. It's like the work of a madman. The architecture is not a great orc skill. And you do know there's rumours of deep tunnels that connect scrap fort to scrap fort, rather than just the little half trenches you see in front of you now.
I've learned a lot from my parents with bushcraft, and one of the sayings is time spent on reconnaissance is never wasted. So my goal, which I'm going to pitch to you guys, is I think we should get to high ground.
I like it. Get up near the edge of the caldera. Sorry, it's not a caldera. It's an asteroid impact strike, isn't it?
Sure
Yeah,
is.
but whether we're trying to climb to the top of this fort or
So
get
we
to the
are-
lip
we
of
are-
the crater and try and get do our recon work and work out what the situation is.
Well, at the moment, you've got to try and figure out what your orders are, what your objectives are. And Dryak, he sees you having this conversation amongst yourself and he's like, listen, he said, I've got walking wounded here. We're going to have to find an evac route for them. At the moment, we need to get the Vox back online, figure out what's happening.
High ground, I think.
Has one of you
do you
got the
reckon?
capability to get a Vox repaired? Only War is a D100 game where you roll under a skill value, and those skill values obviously range from very low numbers to very high numbers. So in terms of if either any of you wanted to have a look at the Vox and try and repair that, then you would be doing a test, rolling 2 dice. So none of your characters are particularly technically able. I don't think you've got anyone from the Mechanicus or anything with you. So you could give me a just a basic intelligence roll, and we can see if we can figure out what's wrong with the Vox.
Tipping Shanada's not going to be good at that. I'm not great at it either.
No.
So does one of you want to have a little tinker with the Vox set and see if you can get it working? I would suggest Shanada, with no disrespect to you, it's likely to not be you.
I'll give it a go. Even if I don't have the necessary skills, I always back myself to my own detriment.
I might just step in and suggest maybe you're great on the heavy weapons. I'm the specialist. I'm a jack of all trades.
I love the idea that I had it in my palms ready to go, and you've done the lean
And
over.
I've gone,
Shoink.
yeah, should we maybe reconsider?
Done, you've got it.
Let me ask. Okay, thank you. Thanks, Helena. Yelena. Helena. Still getting to know you, obviously.
Helena.
Shanida.
Shanada, go back to polishing your boots, mate.
Sergeant Drake sort of hands over the Vox. He's not an expert. He's always been a frontline man. And after a bit of fiddling, you notice that there's been a wire that's been knocked loose that you managed to reconnect. And suddenly the Vox bursts into life and this babble of voices come out. And you can just hear the net is packed with traffic back and forth. And it sounds like panic and open retreat. And after a few minutes of listening to this, you piece together that there's been a massive Orc counterattack against the Imperial advance and has cut off your line of supply. It's threatening to encircle everyone between the Teeming and the Fallow River, which is all the way back almost at your fire base. So to prevent the advance elements of the 233rd and the bulk of the 14th Regiment from getting cut off, the order has come that everyone is to fall back. And to prevent a break through the landing zones and not losing the beachhead on the planet, the Imperial Navy is going to be glassing the entire region of the Teeming, the entire crater and surrounds, bombarding it from orbit. And that's going to happen 11 hours from now.
You guys like running?
I've got plenty of time.
So when Sergeant Drake hears this, of course, he's like, oh, Faith, because that's what they say in 40k. He's like, Faith, we got to get out of here. We got to get these wounded out of here. He said, we need you to figure out a plan, figure out a route of escape. As I said, I'll guide the wounded. I need you to find us a way out. So your first objective is going to be to get out of the scrap fort that you're in, and you're going to have a think about what you're doing with these wounded.
So how many wounded are there?
I'm glad you asked me that. At the moment, there's 4 walking wounded with you. Well, 3 walking. You have Rourke, who has a head wound and is currently unconscious, but he's bleeding pretty badly from the head. Tabas has been blinded by an Orc stick bomb and has bandaging over his eyes. Ganal is missing a leg that got severed by a chopper. Fitz. That's not a helicopter. That's a Orc giant machete blade.
Oh, right. I thought you were just having a pun.
Yeah, no. And Quaron, who's bleeding out from a gut shot. And you'd be surprised if he even lasted the 11 hours.
But he's named.
They're all named.
It's terrifying.
None of them are wearing red shirts.
This is the guard, son. Everyone's expendable. You have to try and find your way out. But unfortunately, you try and come up on the Vox net. And there's no chance of getting in. Everyone's using command level overrides. There is no chance of your set coming up on the Vox. And it just doesn't have the reception and the range to reach from where you are.
It's on us, guys. Do you remember that old goat track leading through? I think we go scout that out.
Sorry, what track?
I'm not going to make the noise of a goat.
Oh yeah, Ramirez is also known for her animal impressions.
I think we explore that. That's the safest way in and out. We'll see if it's infested by orcs.
Do we just try and pick everyone up and take them with us as is, or are we trying to scout ahead and then waste time coming back when we know the coast is clear? Like, how are we gonna?
Yeah, what we could do is burn a little bit of time just getting to a vantage point from this fort to look out, to try and scout the location towards the goat track.
Yeah.
To get an idea of what's in front of us. And then when we're ready to step off, there's a good chance you could carry a few of these wounded yourself.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
And then we can come up with a plan for the remainder. But do we want to do that? Just
maybe
try and get some information from
higher
him.
ground and get a bit of a lay of the land.
Perfect. So the fort that we're in at the moment, Ramirez is looking for just a vantage point that I can see out into the external area.
So the fort is quite large. Like it's a fort that would hold 100 plus orcs. So there's tens of meters of tunnels stretching off in either direction. Like I say, there's these. So it's going to take you a bit. There's no exit door right near where you are. And when you came in the middle of the night, the dark was there. It was full volume. It was a rolling gunfight to get you into position. And you ended up holding a corner of. You don't even know how orc forts work. It could have been a mess room or a barracks, but you've literally sealed the door. You're in this small room, and you're going to need to make your way out through the fort.
I'm happy to go on point with my flamethrower because I'm a heavy gunner, and that could be a quick, short reaction clearance weapon for us.
Yeah. Nice.
And it may just be that we pop the door and pick a direction and start moving. And then once we're actually external, we can get our bearings direction-wise. So my plan is to have someone crack the door for me while I'm primed on the flamethrower.
All right. Who's going to do that?
Well, Ogrins are known for their subtlety and their low-impact manoeuvring. Having said that, I'd like to have a go, if that's okay, Shanadar.
That's fine.
Shanadar. Shanadar kill orc.
Yes, soon, Shanadar. Yes, very soon, Shanadar.
Shanadar and Cole, is there what's the relationship like? Is Shanadar mixing in with the company when they're stopping for breaks and everything, or is Shanadar shunned in the...
I
feel like
Shanadar.
we'd be close as
Yeah.
well because I don't get along with many others and I'm all business. And I feel like if you're no nonsense to the point, I'd be very protective of that.
And I think Shanadar, one of the few first orders he ever got was you got to look after, as he refers to them, the little ones in the crew. So he almost takes on this protective older brother, whatever, and is very, very protective of anything that these...
I see Shanadar as a bit of almost a company mascot, like a Labrador or
Yes.
something. Like he's a Labrador who's really good at bashing orcs.
Bashing stuff,
Yeah. So I'm quite protective.
I know in the most recent fighting, Shanadar suffered a loss.
Yes. So during the recent fighting, his, as he refers to him, little un Guron, he died, and it's caused Shanadar at the moment to be quite almost uncharacteristically aggressive.
Oh.
More so aggressive and overprotective. I've started acting almost on my own initiative, especially when it comes to possibly killing orcs.
Oh.
So the bloodlust and revenge is high, and definitely the protectiveness, everything's a bit heightened at the moment.
That'll come in handy.
Yeah. I'm going to... I know Ramirez doesn't really like to mingle too closely with other people in the company, but I'm going to take a minute with Shanadar and just have a quiet word. I'm known for my sort of black sense of humour. I tend to lighten the mood when things are tense, and I'm just going to have a quiet word with Shanadar. I go, Shanadar, just remember you listen to us, okay? And we'll tell you what to do. Don't you go running off. Is that cool?
Yeah. No running off unless to kill orcs.
Even to kill orcs. If we don't say you go kill orcs, you got to stay with us, okay?
I'm now going to have a word to Fitz. Fitz, do as we say.
Okay.
I'm not sure Fitz is in complete control of Shanadar at this point. Shanadar's
Shanadar
got
has
his own
developed
quantity.
sentience. We're all in trouble.
All right, you pop the door and you see a tunnel that goes off into darkness. And again, as soon as you open that door, the stink, the blood smell fades off that's been in the room with the wounded, but the stink of the orc, like butchered meat and the fungal remains and the stagnant water. This is not a place that... It's like the worst of the World War I trenches. But you see a dark tunnel that runs off in one direction, and you can see 20 metres or so, probably 50 metres up, the tunnel sort of bottoms out, goes down a slight decline, bottoms out, and you can see what looks like it might be daylight just beginning to break down the far end of that tunnel. And off to your right, the tunnel goes steeply downwards into the bowels of the earth. So which way do you want to...
I like daylight myself.
Daylight suits me.
Yeah, it suits me. I think we're heading towards
I intend...
the light.
I'm chewing gum at this point because I'm all focus on point with the flamethrower out, but I also non-master hand reach into a pocket and grab one of those glow sticks and just crack it and drop it at my feet in the hallway before we step off.
It's good. I like that. That's
It's a blue light.
Shannon clever. I give credit.
Stole that direct from, I think,
You
was it
pick it up
Rambo?
and eat it?
Yeah.
I crack it, drop it on the ground, you're like,
Shannon,
Every time I open my mouth from now on, it's just this blue light.
love it.
and then I'm aiming to just step forward and start covering ground through the corridor.
Okay. And the stack is you're first in the order. Who's following? Is it Cole behind?
I think Cole's
Dylan?
rear guard, so
Okay.
Shanadar in the middle, because we sort of need to corral Shanadar a little bit. I
Well, my only thought on that is if you leave me at the back, then So are we leaving the wounded behind? Is that
think. Yeah,
what
for
you're saying?
now, I think.
So I think at the moment what you said was you were going to go out and scout and then come
Yeah,
back
come
for
back.
the wounded.
Is this tunnel wide enough for us to move freely in? Or?
Yeah, it's probably 5 meters across, and it's quite low, but it's enough
okay.
that your head's almost touching it. But
And we have able bodies with the wounded.
yeah, so
have our
Sergeant
sergeant and a few
Dryak's
others.
remain with
Yeah.
the wounded, and obviously
Yeah, okay.
he's got more combat experience than the three of you put together.
Let's do it. Let's ironically walk towards the light.
So you will see on your character sheet you have a perception stat. So what I might do is we'll skip over the minutiae of which way you're going to turn at which tunnel, because then I'll have to draw a map, and I don't want to do that. Give me a perception roll as you're coming up towards the daylight, and I think we'll probably go with you, Yelena, because you're first in the.
Yelena.
Sorry, Yelena.
Yelena.
Oh, it's pronounced Ramirez. Got it.
I have rolled a 29 and my perception is 29.
Okay, so lucky for you, in this system, rolling at your perception is a success. Or rolling out the value is a success. It's not an under only system. You know, sort of cocking your head and focusing your all your senses down in the direction. You can hear down in the door. You can hear footsteps moving around, and very distantly you can hear.
Yeah, I tell you, them zogging Yumis being here somewhere.
There's ogrons ahead.
Not sure where they've gone, but I can smell them.
And you can hear a couple of voices talking back in answer. So you can't get a sense exactly of how many there are at the moment, but
I spent a lot of time pulled out of school by my parents who would train me in jungle craft, which is where my love of the outdoors and survival came from. My father, I would perform hunting trips with him on Katachan in the jungles, and we were very conscious of not using any verbal cues when we were out. So at this point, my Kirlena will be just raising one hand with the fingers, everything flat in just that stop motion to try and have the two behind me also stop. Because I've picked up on the dim orcs.
I just point out that Shanadar misreads that and gives Yelena a high five.
It echoes.
so to approach, you basically have one tunnel of approach, and the sides of the tunnel there's piles of scrap. There's like orc standards and flags. There's bits of wreckage and broken down things. There's the occasional orc corpse, and obviously orcs are pretty hulking. So there is cover down that hallway as you're moving up, and you can try and advance quietly to try and get the drop on them. They're probably 50 meters away at this point. To get closer, I'm either going to need every one of you to give me an agility test, or else I'm going to ask one of you to be nominated as like a point man who's basically going to guide everyone's feet so they can take the burden of the stealth, if that makes sense. So how are you going to run it? Are you going to all move as a group, or are you, and bearing in mind if the fight kicks off, it might be that you're a little bit away from the rest of the group if you take the point roll.
I'd be happy to give it a go. And I think that Yelena probably wouldn't even look back at the others at this point. She's all business and all focus. And at the second she hears the voices, she gives the command back. She doesn't even look backwards to see if it's been received. And then she goes into that slow movement of the feet with the heel, side, toe coming down. And then there's that Hollywood shot zoomed inside on of the flamethrower with a little pilot light. Just goes...
Nice.
It's the faint hiss of the gas flow going. Okay, so
But it was helium!
So if you can do that, what I'll get you to do is give me an agility test. It's going to be only War categorizes tests on a sliding scale from very difficult to very easy, which affects the target that I want you to get. This is going to be what's called a challenging roll. A challenging roll means there is no modifier.
Gotcha.
So challenging is plus minus 0. So all you have to do is roll under your
It was already a difficult roll, but let's see how we go. I failed, and I failed considerably. I required a 31. I rolled an 86.
There are degrees of magnitude in Only War. So for every 10 that you succeed or fail the goal, basically changes how serious the impact is.
So is your agility 31?
Yeah, which is one of my best skills.
Mine's 33.
What?
I should have gone first.
You are less agile than an ogre.
I figured like everything for you would be low.
That's what I
except for
figured.
Strength and toughness.
I'm looking at all these and I'm like, oh yeah, they're not that great.
Your
And then-
stats are so much better than mine. I'm in the 20s for like everything.
Yeah, but he
my-
punches things and you have a flamethrower,
Yeah.
so I think that's where the balance comes.
I can't believe they had that perfectly placed stick in the middle of this tunnel.
Yeah, the snap.
Yeah.
This is classic Ramirez. She's full of her own confidence and has banged her flamethrower into an orc standard, knocked it over.
Yeah.
But then I glare at one of you like you did it.
Yeah.
You're like 3 meters away from me.
No, you're just like, shut it up. You're like, oh, shut it up, sorry. Shut it up.
So, the orcs, needless to say, are alerted by this. The loud tink of the gas tank against, like you say, an orc standard. There's this metallic, tiny little clink, but it seems to echo down the corridor. And all of a sudden, you hear the orc voices, "Dash them to humies!" And you hear pounding footsteps coming towards you as they come into view at the sort of base of the gentle slope there. Welcome to combat. Combat is a method in this game where we have to roll initiative, which I know you guys might not be that familiar with. So you'll see how to roll initiative on your sheet there, but essentially I need you to roll your agility score and then add your a 1d10 result to it. So your agility bonus here, the first digit of your agility, I think you'll find is probably a 3. So you're going to roll your dice, 1d10, 1d10.
1d10. I rolled a 5.
Okay, so if everyone could just tell me what you roll.
I rolled a 4.
7.
Okay, and is it a 3 for each of you for agility
Yes,
score?
it is.
So the orcs are at position 6, so we're going to be going from highest to lowest. Who got the highest score of that?
With bonus, I have a 10.
10?
And then I got an 8.
I got a 7, I believe.
Yes.
Yes.
Switch on, Shanada.
That's all right. So you're
You
all...
asked me to do
Janitor's
math.
math.
I'm
Get better.
not even sure I have 5 fingers, mate.
You also ate the die.
Yeah.
So you're all going to be going before the orcs, and the orcs will be going as a group at the end. As you peer along, you can see that 2 of these orcs have got sluggers, primitive put-together firearms that are, in different configurations and different shapes for each of them. 2 of them have shooters, primitive put-together weapons, and 1 has a slugger, close combat blade. They want to get in tight to you and fight. So you're going to want to make sure that you don't let them get to you and chop you up.
I'll tell you, little squig. The secret is War Boss, Big Boss, Gigabobs, Humies, Shish Kebabs.
Oh, is they organic?
Free-range humies hunting down by the wog, flens free of skin by the teeth of snotlings before being mushed into shish kebabs. What the crumb do you think?
Wow, but is they delicious?
Free-range humies hunted down by the wog and flens free of skin by the teeth of snotlings before being mushed into shish kebabs. What the crumb do you think? You've got a need for an orc-sized feed. Try Big Boss Gigabob Shish Kebab. You've got a need for an orc-sized feed. Try Big Boss Gigabob Shish Kebabs.
How does it happen? You can get a travel in the walk, or killing an orc, or fighting till you thought you would burst. You sure got a thirst. A hard-earned thirst needs a big cold drink, and the best cold drink is Foy's. Old Foy's. You know how it happens. You can get it training Astartes, or at victory parties, or killing everyone first. You sure got that thirst. You can get it from psychic delirium, or just serving the Imperium. Matter of fact, I got it now. A hard-earned thirst needs a big cold drink, and the best cold drink is Foy's. Old Foy's.
Flashing Badger.
The way combat's played is each of you gets 1 action in your turn, and you'll see on the reference sheet I've given in front of you, there's a whole bunch that you can take. You can take an aim action, an all-out attack, a charge, evade, full auto burst with your weapon, move, reload, run, and some of these take half actions and some of them take full. First, I'm going to be going to you, Mike. I'm going to be saying, you're out in the middle of this corridor, there's cover either side of you, the orcs are now 40 meters away, and they're on the run towards you. It looks like they've just noticed you at this moment. They're not startled, but they're engaged.
My weapon, the heavy flamer, which will be ideal in the corridors, only has a range out to about 30 meters. And Helena is pretty good at her pacing and her distance measurement, so she's confident that she wouldn't be able to hit these orcs yet, but wants to almost just lay in wait to catch them off guard. So my action, what I'm intending to do, is to be able to just move to the first piece of cover, take a knee, and just have the flamer ready.
Sure. So you can move, and you'll see on your sheet you've got a movement range there.
Yep.
And what's that? What's your move on your character sheet there?
Half action, 3 meters. Full action, 16. Charge 9, run 18.
Sure. So your half action is going to comfortably get you into cover and get you into a setup position. Waiting, that's your plan at the moment?
Yep, half action into cover.
Okay. And with the other half action, I say there's essentially firing actions, or you can just wait if you like.
Yep, there's no point for me drawing my las pistol and firing a shot down a hallway, so I think I'll just wait.
Keep the flamer ready and wait. Okay. So, Wegs, you're the same. You're a few steps back. So, again, it's not much more. It's 42, 43 metres, something like that from the targets. You have any weapons of that kind of range, or are you going to think
No,
of something else?
I'm a shotgun man. Shotgun's notoriously great up close, a bit like a flamer, I suppose. Not wonderful down a long hallway. I've got a knife, which also not renowned for their distance, their long-range tactical use. So I'm going to do likewise. I'm getting into cover.
So, would you like to do a full move and perhaps get alongside level Yelena and into cover on the opposite side of the hallway?
May I recommend, if you have your knife out while you move, you'll actually move further. I've learned that from video games.
I also do little bunny hops along the way, just to really speed up how quickly I get into cover.
Makes you harder to hit. Yep.
Yeah. So I'm crouching, I'm doing bunny hops, and I use my full move to get into cover next to my good friend.
And are we on opposite
Helena.
sides of the corridor?
We are.
Yeah.
I like
We are.
that.
Leaving the middle for me.
All the rounds that come up the middle just hit you.
Okay, so Fitz, you are again about 3 metres spacing between all of you. So now that you've seen what they're doing, what's your plan?
And so about 40 meters, you reckon the orcs are away?
Yeah.
With I think it's a half move. I'll take a bit of a half action move and sort of take as best cover as I can. But I also want to get ready my grenade.
So your plan being to throw a grenade.
My
next to them,
my
or-
intention is to, when they are within range, to throw a grenade in this very small enclosure.
What could possibly go wrong?
At what point can I... I'll wait for the next round.
I don't even know if we can see this. This is happening
Oh,
behind us.
yeah, true.
So when you move, are you coming up completely level with them, standing out in the open of the hallway, or are you
No, I'll
trying to hunch you behind?
trying to take an element of cover against the side wall, I guess.
So which side are you on? The left side with Mike, or
I'll
the
probably
right
take
side?
up the position behind Mike at the moment.
Yelena.
Helena.
Jelena.
Just
DJ.
because I figure I'll hide behind. We know each other well. We're a combat unit. We've done our time in the trenches. I know she's about to flame out, and I figure that's the best thing to stand behind.
It becomes the orc's turn, and the guy with the slugger pistol and the chopper blade comes running down the hallway towards you. He's moving his full move distance.
90 meters.
Yeah, he's gonna be right on top of you.
I'm like, he's
41 meters
away. That's the He's distance 41 meters.
So he's, in fact, he might. I think he's even going to go on a charge.
There it is.
He'll run. He'll run. His run is 18 meters. He is flat running down the center of the corridor with no regard for his own safety, just in the interest of getting to you. At the moment, he probably ends up about 20, let's say 25 meters away. The second the two of the shooters move up alongside him, but they don't move nearly as far. They only move up 6 meters. So they're still back at 32, 33 meters. And they're kind of mirroring your formation. They're on either side of the corridor and ready to fire, but they haven't managed to engage yet. I want to point out, in game, out of game, and everything, their range on their guns isn't great. Those shooters are good, but the slugger's terrible. So he's going to be someone who wants to get close to you. The shooter's a big, long, proper rifle, but the slugger's a little pistol and a blade carrier. Will we carry the same initiative forward for the next round? So, Mike, it's back to you. You've got one 25 metres away, being the one with the knife, and you've got the two further back, 32 metres away.
Excellent. I'm laser focused on the one that's running towards us. And I'm lucky that I've got bulging biceps for Helena, because she's all about the heavy weaponry. So she doesn't need to brace when firing her heavy flamer. I think it cuts in nice and close to her where she gets her catchphrase out, or a catchphrase, because she has a flamer, you need several catchphrases. So it'll be something along the lines of, if you can't handle the heat, and then she lets rip with a torrent of flame is your intention straight down the middle of the hallway to cook the one that has come into view.
Flame weapons are a little bit special to other weapons, and they have some traits. Essentially, the chance to set people on fire. But in terms of your shoot, as you see, you get built-in aim action there, which basically gives you a +10. So you get a benefit, an automatic benefit to shooting. And then your standard attack here is going to be one ranged attack making a single hit. So what I'm going to do is roll for your ballistic skill there. What's your ballistic skill value?
38.
Okay, so you're aiming to roll under, but you've got the +10 because it's a standard attack, and +10 for the aim. So it's now essentially 58 that you're aiming to roll under.
I've rolled a 31 as success.
Excellent. So it's a good success. So what? Because the impact has hit him, he's automatically going to have to make an agility test to see if he has been set on fire.
Yes.
His agility is 30. Let's see how this goes. He's rolled 35. So he is indeed set on fire.
How does an orc have like better agility than me?
I just when you were describing it, I felt like going when you're talking about your big biceps and stuff like that. I felt like going, "Hey Ramirez, have you ever been mistaken for a man?"
And now that you've done that, what you're going to do is roll for me your damage.
Yep. I have a D10 plus stalling. D10 plus 4 for my damage with a penetration of 2. I'll start with the D10.
Yes, please.
A 10 plus 4.
Okay, so because it's 10, you automatically get to roll another D5 now.
Excellent. A 2.
So you have 12 plus another 4 for the initial bonus.
Yep.
So you have done 16 damage. This orc is going to get a chance to do an armor save to see if his armor protects him.
Famously known for their amazing armor, orcs.
Yeah, so you had a total of
16.
16. He has a toughness bonus of 8, so his natural inclination to shrug off damage. So only 8 of that is getting through in the first
And I
place.
like maxed out when I rolled everything too.
Yeah.
There was a
Like
chance
a-
I wasn't going to do anything.
I know.
No one
that's-
warned us these orcs would be so tough.
Yeah, they're quite difficult people to come across. So because it's a flame weapon, I'm going to say his flak armor doesn't actually protect him at all. So he's taking 8 damage. He's a total.
His t-shirt was made of cotton.
He's a total of 12 wounds. So he's in quite a bad way, and he's still on fire. He's going to take flame damage every turn. So
It's going to be this beautiful beacon running up the corridor.
So we can see better now, can't we?
Yeah.
'Cause he's on fire.
Yes.
absolutely. You know, I should
Stand still.
I should
We're
have
going to
given
walk
you.
past you. Stand
All
still.
the glowworms just disappeared though.
I should have given you some negatives for how dark it was, but you've solved that. So
I feel that he was
I
silhouetted.
feel like that.
no, of course.
Because he's still alive. It's just like a cartoon. Like his face is all black and his hair's gone shooting up backwards,
yeah.
but he's like blinking still loudly.
He's going to turn into a pile of ash just
Yeah,
with the
yeah.
blinking eyes. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So that's your turn, Wegs. Talk to me about what your action is. So the other two, the two that are up and fighting, are still 32 meters away.
I've glanced over and I've seen that Shanadar is holding a grenade with the pin removed in his fist.
Shanadar.
Now, I do want to point out your range is not a hard and fast range. You can shoot beyond your range.
Yep.
And in that, because I'm going to tell you my intention is to clearly throw this grenade. I did hear you say earlier that we're on a slight slope.
Yep, slight
Down.
downward slope. Are you,
So if
are
it's
you-
32 meters away and you throw something 30 meters,
Yeah.
it may roll 2
It may
meters.
roll
is what
2
you're
meters.
so
saying.
you're already negotiating a better outcome, and it's not even your turn.
I just thought I should let you know my intentions. As
That's an awful lot of thinking that's gone into this from
Yeah,
Ogre.
Shanadar is the most forward-thinking of all Ogren. I
Shanadar's
think.
had more coherent thoughts in the last 10 seconds than he's had in the last 10 years.
But why are we really here? At what cost? Like, shut it, now's not the time.
I'm deeply concerned by this depinned grenade that Shanadar's holding, knowing full well I've got my combat shotgun at 20 meters. It's really not that effective.
So your range goes in essentially bands of longer extreme range, which gives you negatives on your to hit. So you can still take the chance at shooting at him, but I just can't. It's going to become more difficult to hit, of course.
You could also bound forward cover to cover and be half action to get in range and then shoot.
True.
Yeah.
With the other option.
Getting in front of the flamer.
Because it's
I did have that thought.
long range is double your weapons range. So this would be.
So 40 meters, they're within.
It's not short range. It's not long range. Actually, you're within you're within the range, but you're going to get no modifiers on your
Sure.
hit roll. You do have aim as like a half action there. So you could aim and still do a shoot, but there's only one kind of attack action you can take per turn. You can't double stack attacks in the Only War system.
If you are going to fire, can I just request that you do that Hollywood thing where you pump the shotgun as though it weren't actually chambered ready to go?
Oh,
which is horrible discipline.
Yeah.
No, I'm actually... I rack it, but I
You expect a cartridge.
I eject. My clip goes from 8 to 7,
Yes.
and I look down and I go, ammunition well spent.
Every time.
You rack it, it ejects, lands on the flamethrower, boom! I throw the pin accidentally rather than the grenade because I'm disoriented.
And we move on to our next RPG.
And the orcs have won. Congratulations.
So I will point out, you do have the suppressing fire action there if your goal was to stop them advancing on you. However, these are the two shooty ones that are left alive. So that may or may not be to your benefit.
Did the other one die?
Well, he's on fire.
He's on
He's
fire.
running around.
Not well.
He's going to have a difficult time of it. I'm not saying don't target him, but I'm saying he's going to have to roll an agility
But you
check.
hadn't also declared him deceased.
Well, I'm not a licensed medical practitioner.
So for my 2 actions, I'm going to aim and then let off that double shot.
Okay, so it's going to have to be a semi-auto burst. Yep.
Yep.
So no problem. So you are going to get nothing added for the range that you're at. So there's no penalty for that. You're going to get plus 10 for being an aimed shot. You have a ballistic skill of
29.
Okay, so that becomes 39 essentially. And I'm going to get you to roll. So you're going to get an additional hit for every degree of success.
Right.
So you're aiming for 29. If you roll me a 19, you'll get 2 hits instead of 1. If you
Okay.
roll me a 9, you'll get 3 hits instead of 1.
Yeah, I see.
Make a roll for me and let's see what happens.
It's a spectacular failure. 77 I've rolled, but it was more just a bit of fun, really. You know, just let the orcs know what's coming.
Are you wasting rounds, Cole?
Yes, but I also wasted one when I racked the slide.
He looked cool doing it.
Thank you.
That was
Yeah.
So you're going to be down to I'll get
Down
you
to
to keep
6.
track of this. You're going to be 6 rounds in the magazine. There. How many shots does your flamethrower have before it needs to reload?
312.
Doesn't sound right.
Where will it clip 18?
Okay. So
is
essentially,
crazy.
yeah, it's
It's a tank. It's
like
a short few seconds of fire as opposed to a long
many did I
sustained
use?
burst. You used 1 because you fired a standard attack.
wow.
Yeah.
I like that.
Do
Well
that
budgeted.
17 more times.
I don't know if it came up earlier. There was an orc on fire. What would that sound like?
Ah! Oh my god! I'm on fire! Help me, orc and mork! Essentially, is what he's saying.
Sounded like Kermit the Frog
Yeah.
in the bad years.
Oh, hey, Kermit.
oh, I'm on fire! Oh no!
Yeah, look, I didn't.
I sat on that for a few minutes
Yeah,
before I was
I
going to
like it.
ask you.
Yeah, thanks for
like
springing it on me while I'm looking at the combat tables.
Kermit the Orc here.
Fitz. Fitz.
Yes.
What's Shanadar going to do?
Well, it's funny that we've mentioned all of this, and I thought grenade's the way to go all the way. And I've just looked down, and my ranged weapon would have been easily cleared all of this no drama even
Okay.
before they charge. But
Well-
I've committed to a course of action,
Sure.
and I still like to.
Have you?
I'd like to see it through using all my strength and prowess and combat, whatever, on the downward slope. Peg the frag grenade down to the orcs.
And this is intending to go for the 2 with the shooters at the back.
This is just into sort of my intention is in reality just to get sort of generally in the middle of them.
This
So-
poor orc on fire.
If you look at your grenade there, the range on your grenade, I think says 18 meters.
It does.
So you're going to be firing or throwing it at almost double that range, but thankfully for you, not quite.
I thought they were about 20 meters away. Did I mishear that? Sorry.
There's the 2 with guns are 32 meters away, and the other one's 25 meters away. So
Right. Sorry.
if you want to get
This is
specific,
such an ogre thing to do.
yeah. So you can throw it if you want, but
down the slope, isn't it?
sure. So if that's what you're committed to, then
Would it be better if I kicked it?
Oh god! Oh god!
I don't know if there's a fuse on this thing long enough
if
for how
you
far you're
roll
trying to throw
a critical fail on that, I'm just going to drop it at your feet,
yes.
and you can all
No.
die.
I throw it. I throw it.
Okay, so throw it. Roll your ballistic skill for me.
I got a 40.
Okay, and your ballistic skill is
26.
Okay.
26.
So you failed by, we call it 1 degree of success because you failed by a bracket of 10 more than your failure.
Right.
The grenade is not going to make the distance,
Okay.
essentially. It's going to ping off one of the nearby walls and explode in front of the orc on fire. On your character sheet, you'll have a mark there for grenades.
Yes.
put a line through one of those, and you've got less grenades than you started with.
One question. Obviously, it did explode, didn't go anywhere near him. But I'm assuming it made some sort of large dust/debris type screen.
It became a smoke grenade in midair.
No.
There goes my visibility.
It exploded in a dirt tunnel. There's surely some visibility issues there.
The orc at the front is he's going to have to make a willpower test to do any actions except flailing around, running blindly. So
Do orcs even have will, let alone willpower?
Let's find out.
That would be an ecumenical matter.
Oh, nice.
So he's rolled 22, so he's actually succeeded in his willpower check there. So even though he's flaming and his flesh is burning, he's going to try and take counteraction against you, which is to run towards you and set you on fire. However, he's also taking 1d10 damage, which is 6. As he's running full pelt towards you, he slowly starts breaking down like the T-1000 melting, where sort of his leg gets mired and he collapses down his face, and this smell of like barbecue comes wafting over to you as he's flaming in the middle of the hallway. But he gets within, he's probably about 15 meters away by the time he dies. So he's a little bit closer, and he's now a charred corpse. So congratulations, you've killed your first orc.
Yay!
Aren't we all happy?
My grenade would have hit him now.
Yeah. Hey, Shanadar,
Well,
throw
look,
another hand grenade.
I'm happy to mess with this. So what actually happens is you threw the grenade, and he came running forward, and it bounced off his chest. He fell on top of it and ate the entire blast of the grenade.
Did you just take my XP?
Shanadar, very well done. He probably would have got better without your input.
I give you the little tap on the shoulder and go, like, one to me.
And I can't help but do the snide remark of, you just wasted a grenade.
All right. So meanwhile, the other two, the range of 40 meters, are both going to shoot at you. They're going to aim and shoot. And I'm going to decide who they're going to shoot at.
No one correct him. He made the range further.
I was about to say, they're getting further and further away every time.
32 meters.
And they're trying to shoot through the smog, the smoke that you've put in the corridor.
So the first one is aiming at Shanadar, and the second one is aiming at Cole. So the one aiming at Shanadar is going to take a ballistic skill test. He has rolled 50, so he misses. The shot goes wide. There is no damage whatsoever. So the second shot comes at Cole with an 11, which is going to be a good hit. He fires a single round that strikes you.
At least the gigantic abhuman who's made of concrete is safe.
Yeah, well, that's obviously for the best. His weapon is a shooter, which does 1d10 plus 4 damage. So he's doing 11 damage to you. You have a toughness of 30, which means your toughness bonus is 3. So 11 damage was coming in. It's now gone down to 8. All right. Now we're going to look at your armor value. So
I have a flak vest, armor points 3.
Okay, so that's a further reduction of 3.
Okay,
so you're down to 5 damage coming in, which is still a pretty significant hit. So you
Can I offset it to the Ogren? I mean, my good friend Shanadar.
You may not, but thank you for asking.
You have to repeat it each time.
Shut it off.
This wound sort of sits you back a bit, but luckily your flak vest catches most of it. So if you want to make sure you make a little note on your character sheet there that you've taken 5 damage, and we will continue up to the next round. So the next round, Mike, you're first again. They're 32 meters away. They're planted in cover, shooting at you. What's the plan here?
I've still worked out that my range isn't great at this point, but I'm fixated on the threat. Despite them using the principles of orcsmanship when shooting at Cole, I'm now going to bound cover to cover with the intention of that being a half move, a half action, so that I can still perform a shoot after I do so.
Okay, so your half move there is how far?
3 meters.
Okay. So you're jumping forward 3 meters, and then you're going to shoot from your new cover?
Yeah, and again, I don't need to be able to perform the aim action here. Let off another torrent of flame.
Right.
Straight down the corridor.
So roll your ballistic skill for me.
Sure. I've given you an 80. Oh, sorry, a 7.
Oh,
That's much better.
that's far better. So you have 2 degrees of success on that. So that's going to be a substantial hit. What I'll get you to do now is roll your damage for me, please.
Yep, there was a D10 plus 4, so 8 becomes 12.
Okay, so 12 damage. They have a total toughness of
8.
8. So that's going to be 4 damages going through automatically, but he's also going to have to roll an agility test to see if he is set on fire. He is successfully not set on fire.
No.
He manages to leap to the ground, so he's been scorched. He's taken 4 damage. I presume you're aiming at the one directly in front of you. So he is now on a...
Would have thought the flame would get both, but here we are.
He's now on a total of 8 wounds. So he's a little bit singed, but he's still got some ways
What's the point
to
of
go.
having a flamethrower in a corridor?
If it doesn't get everyone.
Yeah.
That's right. Okay, and that's going to be the end of your action. Wegs, you're next. 32 meters away. Would you like to... you can use your aim and shoot. You can try and do what Mike did and close and shoot.
I think I'm going to aim and shoot again because that orc shooter slug knocked the wind out of me. So I don't feel up to sprinting up the hallway, but I can take a second, get my sights up.
Okay.
We all know sights are the most important part of a shotgun.
Roll the ballistic skill test for me.
You spent all your credits on some 8 times magnification scope on your shotgun.
Damn it, they said this would help me. All right, I have rolled a lucky 13. My
Excellent.
ballistic skill is 29. I have succeeded.
Okay, that's fantastic. So it's going to be double degree of success.
2 degrees of Kevin Bacon on that.
Roll a...
We'll fix it in post.
Roll damage for me. And now, before we do this, were you aiming at the one that has just been set on fire or the other one?
No, the one that shot me.
Okay,
It's a personal thing now.
fair enough. Yep, roll a d10 for damage for me.
3.
Okay, so
Not disastrous. 1d10 plus 3 for damage.
Toughness bonus of 8 means that's not going to get through, but you do have a penetration of 2. So 2 of that damage is still getting through. So he's going to be down to 10 wounds. So he's virtually shrugged it off.
Not really
Down
happy.
to 10.
Down to a total of 10, yes.
So we need to remove 10 more wounds.
I would say so. That's how it works.
Knowing orcs well at this range.
Yeah.
I say he's got about 10 wounds left, fellas.
Yeah, you've really got the measure of him. Sure. Fitz.
I'm a bit embarrassed by my grenade failure. I'm also upset to see you get shot in the breastplate.
Yes.
Even though it didn't hurt you, it still was upsetting.
It's an upsetting moment.
I think I'm just going to do the old charge and shoot.
I feel like that's what you were made for.
I think that's what I'm going to do. I tried...
Are you in range with your gun at the moment?
Well, that's what I was going to ask about. So if I charge and shoot, my gun is 30 meter range, and you said 21 meters? No, 32 meters there.
Yeah, you can still shoot them. That's fine.
So
There's going to be no modifiers to it, and your gun I think can fire fully automatic there under that rate of firebox.
Yes, it can.
So you can fire off 6 rounds in a go. I think it says,
Right.
which means you have a lot of chance of hitting them. Yeah, you could move and just do like say 3 meters to get you within your range.
Yeah.
30 meters, and move into the next batch of cover. Sure. So you'll move up, and you're into the cover now that Mike vacated just a minute ago.
Yeah.
So you're 29 meters away conveniently.
What's that in yards?
And you do your full auto burst. So that's going to be you're going to get plus 10 for being within range, but negative 10 for the full auto. So it's going to be a straight ballistic skill test.
33.
You've missed.
I've missed.
Congratulations. So you have expended 6 rounds of ammunition. What's the ammunition capacity on your gun there?
Clip is 48.
Okay.
And I've got 2 of them.
Keep track of the fact that you've only got 42 left in there for me, will you?
I will do that.
So the 2 shooters, one of them is feeling a bit concerned about the fact that his friend's been shot. He's failed a willpower check to an epic degree there, rolling a 60 off a willpower of 26. So he is turning and running down the corridor. The second one is still standing his ground. Shooter, who's the one who's slightly more wounded there, and he's firing back at you. With a 73, his rounds go completely wild with no opportunity to shoot you. So we find ourselves back at Mike. You have now 1 orc fleeing and 1 orc 29 meters away from you. Talk to me about your chosen action.
He's perfectly in my range, but Ramirez is just so hot-headed that she's sensing the victory and wants to inspire those around her. She steps from cover, walks down the middle of the corridor, and says, "Fire it up."
So you're taking a half-action move towards, so that puts you down at 26 meters, and you're firing just a standard attack there.
It'll be glorious, so I don't know if standard's the right word.
Yeah, we have the standard attack is essentially a one shot, if you like, in quotes, which is you get a plus 10 to the aim, or the semi-auto burst if you've got the capacity on your flamethrower there.
I don't.
Okay, great. So give me a standard attack. You got plus 10 on your ballistic skill,
Perfect.
plus another 10 for being closer.
I wish I could have used it. A 90 from me.
Ooh.
Right. Now,
Ramirez, false confidence.
you do have fate points, which we haven't talked about before now, but they're on your character sheet. And they do allow you to do things like re-rolling a test, plus 10 bonus before you roll a dice. Let's not worry about that one. Re-rolling a test is something you could do now if you wish to spend a fate point, or you could just continue on. and
I
let
would
the
like
others-
to spend a fate point to re-roll this test.
Sure, re-roll that test for me.
Nope, 63.
Okay, I'll get you to cross out one of your fate points even. So this all just, the burst of flame doesn't even go near him. He's absolutely laughing at you over the sights. Thankfully for you, he's not able to hit anything either. Up next, Wegs. What would you like to do?
I raise the shotgun back up to my shoulder, and all I can see is the back of Ramirez's flamethrower.
Shoot my tank.
And my finger slowly drops to the trigger, and then I go, no, I'm a man of Imperial law. It would be wrong. Morally,
Look cool.
if I explode her tank, that will propel her further towards... No, I won't. I will take this opportunity to catch my breath. Reload.
Reload is just going to be a half... it's on your card here, but it's going to be a half action. Reload... Oh, no, reload's a full action
Oh,
for
really?
your shotgun.
Look, I need to roll back up to 8 anyway, so it'll put me in good stead, and I haven't got a shot on a fleeing orc.
Sure. Noting your wounds here as well, you can spend a fate point to remove 1d5 damage straight away.
Alright, I'm going to recover. So what am I rolling? A
1d5.
1d5? I've rolled a 1.
Okay. Take one wound back, and the remainder of your action you're just reloading, is that right?
Correct.
Great. Set that back to full for me. Fitz, see if you can finish off this one who's not fleeing. What?
Shoot the mother.
Okay. Is that
Janadar.
is that going to be an aim and then shoot, or what's the?
How much has he got left? Like, does he look pretty crook?
He's. I mean, if you were to give him a score, you'd say he's about 8 out of 12.
Right.
Please aim. I don't want you to hit me.
Yeah, I'll aim. I'll aim and shoot as much and best as I can within an action.
So a half action aim will give you a plus 10. You're within range, which gives you another plus 10. So I need you to roll your ballistic skill plus a 20.
71. And I fail.
You failed. Absolutely.
I had to
miserable.
roll under 46. I do have one fate point. I'm going to have another crack.
Okay, sure.
67.
Terrible.
I fail by...
A lot. And the shooter, the bloke with the shooter is shoot back at you. And thankfully for you, he is also not a very good shot because he has just let round go into the wall of the tunnel.
It's dark in this tunnel, isn't it?
I'm beginning to understand why the rest of our company is dead.
So he shoots for his half action and then he's moving. He's actually going to move another 3 meters closer towards you. I think he's Jankovic as well. And he's he may be shaping up for a charge here, so you might want to watch yourself. We'll move back to Mike.
Ramirez grits her teeth. 23
meters away now. He's pretty close.
Yep, she's frustrated. She takes a strong grip on the weapon and she fires another torrent of flame straight down the corridor at him.
All right, is that you going to aim first? You already get the aim bonus.
Oh, sorry, that's aim is when it's in relation to shooting into melee.
Okay, so you will get a plus 10 if you choose to aim and then shoot, or you can just do a standard attack.
So within range, so I'm getting plus 10.
Mm-hmm.
So if I use an aim action, that's an extra 10.
Correct.
Let's do it.
Okay, roll those dice.
So I'm looking for a 58 and I have a 46.
Excellent. So you've got 1 whole degree of success on there. Roll for me your damage.
It is a D10 plus 4. We have a 10, makes 14. I have penetration 2.
So
Does that
you've got
matter?
the 10, so you get another D5.
Yep. Which is a 1. So is that round down to 0?
No, 1 or 2 is, it's always going to be something. So you've up to 15.
Yep.
Okay, so you're up to 15. His natural reaction is toughness bonus is 8, sorry. So he's going to take 7. So he's in a very bad way. If you had to guess, you put him at about 1 out of 12. And most importantly,
I thought it was counting up. I thought I only needed 4.
most importantly for him, he has absolutely chronically failed his flame test. So he is definitely
Thank
just
goodness.
torrent. He's a fireball. You can't even see the orc within there now.
You look back at me and give I got that one.
He is technically still alive, but he is badly on fire. He's got a really terrible case of being set on fire. Wegs, are you going to try and finish this one off?
This is the fleeing one?
This is the one who's on fire. The fleeing one is still proceeding up the corridor.
Oh,
He's now an extra. He's actually gone through the belly of the bottom out of the corridor. You can't see him anymore. You can just wait, because I guarantee you he's going to take at least 1 damage next turn and die.
You could strike a cool pose.
I walk up next to Ramirez. I rack the shotgun, and yes, I expend it. It's worth it. It's worth it to expend that one piece of ammo. I look over to Ramirez, say, "Hey, listen, I know we love killing orcs and all, and you're doing a great job. If you get between me and the enemy again, I will shoot you." And then I just walk up the hall towards yonder fleeing orc.
Amazing.
Excellent. I'm going to skip your turn, Fitz, because I imagine Shanadar is going to want to watch this guy burn to death.
Shanadar has opened a bag of marshmallows
Some Ogryns just want to watch the world burn.
to watch an orc burn.
So, sure enough, his screams very rapidly go out as he becomes a smouldering mess on the floor. So, with that patrol gone, you move up to the doorway that they were in front of, and you notice that this leads back out into the teeming proper, into the jungle without. And as you pull aside the animal skin covering the door, the roar of the jungle gets louder.
Thank you.
Yep, some of it sounds like that. You're now in a position where you can go back and collect your wounded, speak to Sergeant Dryack, and figure out your plan for the way out here. But that will be happening next time.
Yay! We survived!
Yeah, you made an absolute meal of killing 3 orcs.
Did.
Don't want to tell you what you're going to face later on.
I think we only killed 2.
Yeah, one of them's run off. He's frightened, but
Hey, it takes a lot to scare an orc. We did alright, guys.
Yeah.
Proud.
That's true.
Hit nothing.
no, you also were quite sheepish for an Ogren who refused to get any closer to the enemy. But anyway, that has been our first session of Only War. We're going to pick back up on this same adventure next time. Thank you very much, everyone, for listening.
What can people do if they want to support the podcast?
It's a really good question. If you've enjoyed today, feel free, or we welcome you to jump on our Discord and join us in conversation. But most importantly, the thing that helps us out most is if you want to jump on and leave a review for us on whatever podcast channel you listen to this, what we're going to do is the funniest or our favourite reviews we're going to read out at the start of every episode, and we welcome you to do them in an in-universe style. So if you want to be a disappointed CEO or an artilleryman on board an Imperial Navy warship who's looking forward to glassing the planet below,
Or a fleeing orc.
or a fleeing orc, yeah, they did not shoot me 5 stars, something like that. We'll read them out at the start of our following adventure, and
Please
hope to
don't
hear from you then.
everybody be a disappointed CO. We know we need we need weapons training. We get it. We couldn't hit the back of a barn. We get it. We know.
I'm going to send them on some training before the next episode, but we'll catch you to continue this adventure next time. Thanks for being with us.
Thank you.
Shanadar!
Bye, Shanadar.
Mike here. You know the goofy pretend ads that you hear midway through these episodes from the 4 of us? Well, you're able to access the complete filmed table reads of these ads at our channel's Patreon. For as little as $1 a month, you unlock all of the podcast and painting channel perks and exclusives, including, these TV commercials, with bloopers and outtakes as we surprise one another with revealing them. You can head across now to our Patreon from the link in the podcast description and check it out for yourself. Thanks, and I'll see you there.
Flashing Badger.